And we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the ToolBelt, episode 242. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition. Today, we have another special guest. Stay tuned, and we will be back after our short intro from our sponsors.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. TC Backer.
Is your lead flow down? Whether you're a company owner, office staff, salesperson, or installer, you're a roofing rock star. We help you get more leads with custom SEO, Google Ads, and a pro website.
TC Backer.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Behind the ToolBelt, episode 242. We had to bump the time a little bit tonight to 7 p.m., back actually to our old time, so thank you for chiming in this evening or checking us out, rather. We have another awesome guest, my good friend Ryan Groth, who is the CEO of Sales Transformation Group, and I'm sure along with some other really cool things that he does. But here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Ryan, how the hell you doing, buddy?
I'm so good, Ty. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be with you.
Right on, man. Thank you for being patient. I did book you for 12 p.m. today, and you so graciously, committed to bumping it with us to 7 p.m. this evening. So, thank you so much. It might be earlier or later. Where are you coming from?
I'm coming to you live from Hawaii. We moved back here this year after a year and a half away, and having originally moved here in 2020 from Florida. So, yeah, we're back in Hawaii. Yeah.
Amazing. So, what time is it there?
1:11 right now.
1:11.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Really? It's freaking 7:11 here. Okay, so what would that would have made it super early for you then? What, like 5 a.m.?
That would have been 6 a.m. my time, but I get up at 5.
Okay.
My schedule, I'm up at 5. If I have a call, it's usually never before 6 because I try to protect that first hour to, get my coffee and do my thing. And then they usually run from 6 to 2, so about 80. And then and then I'm on the road. I got my schedule down. Now that this is our second time back here, and we know what life's like here, how to live here, how we just do life, and how I travel. We got a good system down. So yeah, man, we're good.
Good stuff, man. that's a great topic too, man. Personal development and carving out some time in the morning to get right with the world and yourself before you go out. Arm yourself. You know, I talk about putting the armor on, right? Like I gotta get my armor, before I go out and enter into the world, the business world, or my personal life. I get up early too. I try to get up earlier than everybody else and get my coffee. I got two books that I read in the morning. One of them is Ryan Holiday's. Man, I can't even remember the name of it. How pathetic is that? The Daily Dad. Daily Dad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I read that every day. It's a daily affirmation book. It's a great book. And then I read another one. It's called The Daily Reflections. Read both of them books. That kind of helps me get a little bit centered.
Yeah.
Both books apply to my personal and professional life. And, I kind of just get right. And then this past school year, I was getting up. Rocket had to get up. My son Rocket, first year in Votech. So I was spending 15 minutes with him in the morning before I went out. I kind of lost that where I needed to be the first one there and the last one to leave at the office kind of mentality this year. And started hanging out with him in the morning and stuff like that. And that's a part of me getting grounded and centered, after, I get up before he does because I need that little peace and quiet. And I do a couple other little things too.
Yeah.
And then he would get up and I'd hang out with him. And literally as he's walking down the driveway to catch his bus, I'm pulling out right behind him. But no, I dig that. When did you start like this little, I know you said when you got back there and you finally got reacclimated, but I'm sure it's something that you've been doing for a while and couldn't wait to get back to your routine. When did you start that, and how did you figure out that it would be beneficial for you to have a routine in the morning?
Yeah. So when we were here the first time, my business STG was only like not even 2 years old when we moved here. It was 2 years old, and much of how we worked was through events and live events. So I got started. I'm in, this event, that event, generate a lead, come home, close a deal, bring people on, coach somebody, help be a part of their business. And it was just kind of me and just a couple of people at the time. When I moved to Hawaii, we started running ads. So you guys, people have been around the industry for a while. You probably see my ads. And we were running ads, and it was perfect because we had a digital product. And all the events shut down anyway. And it was during COVID. So it was like we just skyrocketed. And I just started hiring salespeople and brought them on my team and taught them how to sell our product. And so I was up at I would get up at 3 a.m. There wasn't a sale prospect I wouldn't say like I'm there for. Mm-hmm. And I felt that was wearing on me. So of course, I'm not getting up and having time alone. I'm like on a sales call, like, let's talk. and that was tough. And so we kind of grew and evolved a bit. And then the traveling, I didn't get into a flow of like, hey, my wife's Lindsay, and we have 5 kids now, 4 before we moved back we call it the mainland. So don't ever call this the United States and Hawaii. It's still a state, right? So we call it the mainland. And then that's when I started to, this past couple of years, really take that time seriously, because I used to think that anything that wasn't really a sales or business kind of activity wasn't as valuable in my life. And I've started to leak over into my family time and how they felt about how I felt about them. And of course I say I love them and I say I'm a great dad. I want to be a great dad and be a great husband. What was I actually doing that? And so really push came to shove. It was just a kind of an eye opener for me. And I would get up early when we moved to Hawaii, to Dallas. We moved from Maui, paradise, to Dallas, Texas, which I love Dallas, but it's quite different vibe there. And I would get up at like 5, go to the lake, White Rock Lake down there in East Dallas. And I would just have quiet time. And then I'd go to the gym because the world hadn't woken up yet. And I'd go to CrossFit. And then I'm in like 7:30, 8:30, locked in. Well, when we moved back to Hawaii, I knew I was growing so much just by having emotional stability, mental peace, like just spiritual alignment, and just realizing like, the world can wait. Like the world can wait. I don't care what's going on. If I can't connect with God, with my family, if I can't do that, something's like way too out of order because.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, like as a sales oriented, growth oriented, young man in the business world, it's been a lot of action, ready, fire, aim, and a lot of excitement, but maybe some mistakes along the way, and emotionally, I think I was feeling what it feels like to burn out a little bit. Just like, dude, I'm sick, I'm tired of being worried and anxious and so driven and this and that. And I was like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
If that all, if that's happening and it's at the expense of my like family and my soul and my like well-being, then like none of it matters. So I would say it's been about 2.5 years of like, I get up every morning and I read and I spend time in a quiet place, and just this is my time. And anything that's really worrying me, I just like let it fly, let it release. And because I've seen so much time and time again that everything works out for the good. And you just don't want to carry that stuff. So that's the time. And if I get up in the morning, like right now, like I said, it's 6 hours in difference. I'm up at 5, 6 o'clock in Hawaii time. I'm up. That's 12 o'clock Eastern. I could sit there and look at the half glass empty and say I'm missing half the world the day. But at the same time, I have a team. At the same time, I can leverage other things. I'm still making a huge impact in my company. And, but I'm like, I'm not going to get up at 4 or 3 or 2. Will I once in a blue?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But like at the end of the day, people can move their schedules and I can work in a way that's sustainable. And then I get to go to the mainland every other week or once a month and do my thing, go to here, go there, bang things out, get stuff done. And I'm like, I'm loving it. And now I'm at a season now where my kids are like I said, I have 5 and the older 3 can run, like they can come with me. And now I'm bringing my kids and having one-on-one trips with dad, like just bringing them with me and going to a sales meeting, going to a roofing company's office, hanging out at a conference, and my son's with me or daughters with me. And we'll go to a game and do something fun or go to Dave & Buster's or go to Top Golf. And so it's just a beautiful season of life for me, being back here where we feel called to call home. And, we have a beautiful property, 2 acres, overlooks bi-coastal view, have a bunnies and chickens and lay eggs every day and a 4-wheeler on the property. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, hey, I'm raising my kids the way I want. And that's the beautiful thing about this country. We have freedom, and you can make money and provide value, and you can do those things. So super blessed, work hard, but just got a little different vibe and that little different way of doing it. But I love my 5 to 6 a.m. time. And I even have, and I'll kick it back to you, I even have a 7:30 to 8:30 time that I probably get to once or twice a week, where it's just my wife and I. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we just connect. And that's my partner in life. And we just get to be together and just have some coffee, because she sleeps a little later than me. And that's totally fine. And yeah, man, it's good. So routines are powerful. They're really important. And if you don't have one, you're just at the mercy of whatever. And then you can't stay grounded and sustain what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. Now I can agree with that, because I think without my routine, I feel like things become unmanageable. Even if it's just the 6 inches between my ears, that becomes unmanageable. And usually that's what it is. My perspective on things is a little screwed up, and everything out here on the exterior is exactly the way that it's supposed to be, and it's going exactly the way it's supposed to go, and things like that. And I try to get in there and try to control things a little too often. But man, you touched on a lot of great topics. Family and getting centered, and your team, and mental health, right? Mental and physical health, I think. And I guess where that mindset shifted, because I feel like you were cut from the same cloth that I am. Early on in our careers, it was just go, work, grow the business. And when I got home, and still I still am guilty of this, but I'm better at it because I'm aware of it. But by the time I would get home, my family would just get the fumes, right?
Yeah.
I'd leave before they got up. I'd get home when sometimes they were going to bed and they barely saw me. When they did see me, I was irritable and burnt out,
Yeah.
and I needed to start carving out some time for myself to try to get centered. But then I also needed to make some intentional time to spend with them. And I like how you said that, you'll have coffee in the morning. Jana and I do date night on Tuesdays, and sometimes we do it on Wednesdays as well. Because now that we do the podcast at 12 noon, our Wednesday nights aren't held hostage anymore. Because for 242 weeks in a row, we've done this podcast without missing one. So no matter if we were on vacation, and and that's the thing too. I mean, picking, choosing, and having the right significant other too, I mean, has been a huge benefit for me, at least. She's been my ride or die, my rock, and has been on this crazy journey with me through my mental and physical, turmoils and my struggles, and most of those struggles were with myself. But I think by reading a lot of stuff. I read a lot. I study leadership. I study marketing, and I'm real specific on the things, not just general. I try to really dive into and master, and I'll never master leadership or marketing or things like that. I'll always remain a student. And I've learned that too through reading and listening and going to events and things like that. And because I've been able to surround myself with a good team, like it sounds like you have too. I have and still do struggle with letting go of certain things. But when I do, just like this week here, we're out of town, and down at our other place here, we actually have, so we don't go on vacation in my family. Everything's work related stuff. Jana will travel with us. We do go on vacations, but she was just saying, we're never on vacation. She wasn't bitching at me. She was actually, we were laughing at each other because everywhere we go, there's something. We'll go there, but there's always a work related thing. So I call it the work life blend. We've gotten a lot better about the work life blend. And but anyhow, she's been a rock. And that's we've been together. I've known her for 30 plus years, since we were just little kids, and timing was off. But we've been together now for about 14, coming up on 15 years now. But being able to let go of things, right, with the team. That's where I was going with that. Is the team that we have today. And I heard you mention, your team and stuff like that. And they're probably, between the East Coast, West Coast, and you're still probably a good 4 or 5 hours difference from them people. So let's talk a little bit. Let's dive a little deeper on the letting go process. Cause like I said, I think you're kind of cut from the same cloth. Like how have you been able to let go and delegate certain things and trust that it's getting done? And not just that, how have you been able to choose the right people? So 2-part question here. Are you still struggling with letting go, or when was that pivot for you? It's like, hey, if we want to grow and I don't want to burn out, I need to start, delegating certain things.
Yeah, it's great question. Lots to cover. I want to talk, the first big word I want to talk about is the word trust.
Yeah.
As a go guy, high performer, an opinionated visionary, want to change the world, you, you're going to struggle. We're going to struggle working with people if we don't trust them. That was me. And I think it probably has child wound stuff that got going on, stuff with that, all that going back. But let's just talk about, you mentioned team, but let me just rewind real quick.
Yeah, do it.
The first team we got to build is our family team, our first team. And you and Jana, me and Lindsay, we are partners. I am not the king and she's somewhere else. We're side by side, equal part, going to war together, going against the battles of evil, against our society, against our family, against our mind, against our relationships, things that want to shut us down. We're at war together. And so that unity is so key. And so for my wife to trust me, and for me to trust my wife, where we believe the best about where we're going together onto the direction we're headed. Because as sales leaders, salespeople, owners, whoever we are, like if you are trying to go a direction and your spouse is like bummed, and you guys are struggling at home, you're going to have massive issues. And, I just said, I don't want to be on the wrong side of that statistic. Not to say that people who have divorce, I don't condemn that. I'm just not going to let it happen. And I'm not going to pull that card. So we worked through some struggles. Yesterday was 13 years married, my wife and I, and just super grateful for her. I'm more in love with her than ever. And we've gone through the gauntlet, and I'm super blessed. So wanted to say that first. You got to get that team on board. The second thing that needs to be on board is I think that people can lead with a ton of charisma. You could sell people with charisma. You can get people to buy into your vision and be charismatic, and to be gifted, and to be convincing, and to be bold. And all those things are amazing. But typically, if somebody has a lot of that, they lack humility. And humility is something I've been learning for a long time. But like, I think humility is so different than like charisma, which can come through as arrogance. So like, you can have confidence and be humble, but you can also have confidence with arrogance. You can't have humility and arrogance. And so typically, if somebody's really arrogant, they're probably super charismatic. Like, they're really gifted and really good at like sucking people into the vortex of them, like getting people locked in on them, right? That's usually a character trait of that. So in order to actually lead a team that you trust, you have to be humble, and but you still have to have confidence in your direction. So now it's like, I'm confident because I know I'm going to be committed to getting it done. That's where a lot of people are like, no, I'm confident because I'm going to figure it out. How many of us have been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then to go and to say, I'm confident that me and my team, we're going to crush this together. And there's a difference. And I struggled with that because I didn't have trust in some teammates. All of us have. If anybody's run a business, you struggle with this. So don't act like I'm the only one. Mm-hmm. But really, where I'm going with this is, if you trust your team and you believe in them and you're willing to give them the credit, then you can actually build a great team. I've seen many a leader hire people that are on their team that when they do something, the leader takes the credit. So therefore, they still have that arrogant way of going about them, where they're charismatic. That, look what I did. Look what I accomplished with my company. And so I don't think that anybody can truly lead with humility and create a place where we are getting somewhere with credit associated to other people, promoting and lifting up others, if you haven't experienced some sort of major pain and you haven't learned how to, like, what I call walk with a limp, where there's been enough pain in my entrepreneurial journey where the pain is killed the ambition that created arrogance and spurred on the charisma that I have. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm cool with that being dead. That part of me being dead. And the fear for charismatic visionary type leaders that are driven is that if I say that, I'm done. And that's not true. What's amazing is that who you are doesn't actually change. But if you have more people around you and you walk a little slower with a little bit more of a limp and you have more wisdom, you are so much more powerful of a leader. And you're going to be able to create an organization. And that's what I currently have been just coming out of, as a season of pain, a season of struggle, a season of brokenness, a season of becoming, really broken and really broken. Like, I'm not self-assured in and of myself. I'm self-assured. I'm assured and I have confidence because of my creator, because of my wife, because of the people who I love and love me, my team. And man, it's something powerful when you have leaders on your team who've been in the foxhole with you when things have been tough, and they are still looking at you like, what are you gonna do? Take the credit when you guys succeed again, and not like that's wrong. That's wrong. And I just think that there's a lot of credit hungry leaders that have gotta get rid of that, dude. You gotta just put it on the altar and burn it, and just get rid of it. Sacrifice that. So where I'm going with this is building something where your confidence is still through the roof, but it's not an arrogant confidence. It's a humble confidence, and humble confidence comes from you knowing your limitations, your brokenness, and having a team that you know can execute and you trust them. And I'm not saying that's easy to find. Like, you got to find people you can trust. If you don't have somebody you can trust, you either figure it out and get to the point you can trust each other, or you find somebody you can trust, because it's really hard to grow and function at the level that I want to go without that. And I'm so blessed through a lot of money, millions of dollars of mistakes, a lot of opportunity costs, all the things. It's worth me waking up with peace. It's worth me looking at my wife in the eye on a date night and having so much joy. It's worth looking at my team and knowing that we're going to be great. We're taking the right steps, and we're going to figure it out together. And I'm more than happy to tell the world around them that it was them, and like, they're amazing. So I just think that, like, there's a huge chasm that people have to cross, that pain is the distance. It's you going through enough pain where you're no longer going to self-protect and promote and want everything to be about you. And that is massively valuable. And I hope that we can all figure it out before it's too late. That's my hope.
Yeah, so good. So good, Ryan. That was so good. And and I hope any leaders or managers or entrepreneurs or CEOs, man, I hope you understood what Ryan said, because I mean, I think I can speak for you, Ryan, that we both have experienced that insecurity where we felt like we needed, at least for me, I needed to that spotlight. I wanted people to see that I was successful. And I think through pain, enough pain, comes growth, right? By saying a lot of dumb things and taking the credit for things that I probably shouldn't have took credit for, or whatever the case might be. And I liked how you talk about, like, being a visionary. It's like, and I don't even know if imaginary, using it in this context even makes sense, but it's like, I'm the imaginary, area, where it's like, today it's like, I can imagine these things. Now I just need to find the people that can actually do it. Right. And through very painstaking growth over the years, I've experienced where I've ran things with, an iron fist. It was my way or the highway. Nobody can do it as good as me. And I wouldn't let go of things. I just wouldn't let go of things. And I think we all hit a breaking point, at some point in time. And I read something the other day, and I actually, I jotted it down, like what the main job of a CEO is. And I wish I could claim this, but somebody else came up with, but the job is to focus on three things. And this is kind of what season I'm in right now. It's like the company's culture. That's one thing. It's the people and the money. They set the company's direction, hire the best people, and make sure there's always enough money. The hardest part of being a CEO is ignoring unimportant things and letting other people handle them. And what I got out of that was the very last sentence there is letting go of unimportant things, right? And letting other people handle that, because I would get into a nitpick. Like, I would give people something to do, whether it be a task or a job, and I'd critique it. I wouldn't let them make mistakes. Just the things that total opposite today. It's like, now I don't encourage mistakes or accidents and things like that, but I know firsthand that through those errors, through those mistakes, that's where the real growth, that's where the real learning and training takes place, in those mistakes. And there has to be enough room for error. And I'd say, if anybody that's in a management or entrepreneurial position, You got to become callous to other people's mistakes and hope and pray that it's not a very costly one. God knows I've made many costly errors. And because of that, you start to become humble, right? Not posting everything that's going on social media, like, hey, look at me, kind of stuff like that. And I'm actually kind of pretty good at that or bad at it, because there's probably a lot of things that I should be promoting on social media that I don't. And I think I get caught up in some of that. Am I being humble or am I hiding? Kind of thing.
It's definitely a fine line to walk, right? It's good though.
Yeah.
It's even a line that you're thinking about though, because some people don't even have it on their radar, right? It's like,
Yeah. And through, and with the insecurities, and I think a lot of that insecurity, it could have been from childhood stuff. It could have been, that's things that I had to work through, in my early, adult years. And even now I'm still working through some stuff that's like, that self mastery, that time that, going back to that time I take in the morning and meditating, and I pray, and I'm not afraid to say it. I meditate and I pray and I read, and I do things like that to try to like figure out why I am the way that I am. Why am I so high strung? Why do I suffer from neurosis? Like all these things that have actually contributed to my professional success, but I also had to learn how to reel that stuff in to and ball that energy up and use it in other facets of my life, which isn't always easy. It's like, because I'm a firm believer, and it's funny how this catchphrase is starting to become popular now, and I've said it, I probably used to say it wrong all the time, but it's how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think the actual saying is how you do one thing is how you do everything. But I've lived by that. Like my truck, if my truck is a dumpster fire, my office, my desk probably looks like a dumpster fire, which means my mind is probably a cluttered mess too. So it's like I'm a firm believer on, keeping my truck clean, try to keep my desk as neat as possible, and decluttering things, right? Like I'm going through this thing right now where it's like I have too many t-shirts to choose from in the morning. Like I only wear 5 shirts throughout the course of the week and probably 5 in the evening, and like the rest of it has to go. And Jana's probably listening, she's probably wondering when the hell this is all going to go down. But I'm getting to that point where it's like I'm so down for simplicity. I don't give a shit if I get the props on something. You know what I mean? I really don't care anymore. And it's almost like all that time and that energy that I wasted to try to get the spotlight and try to take the credit for things. It's almost like like I burnt so many calories worrying about that stupid stuff. And it's like, I think it comes with age, and I think it comes with maturity. And of course, making a lot of mistakes and doing things the wrong way. But no, this is a great topic, and the team thing, right? Building a trusting team, but not just that. The one thing that I want to try to like add to what you were saying with the trust, you also got to vibe with those people, right? Because you probably spend a lot of time with those people, sometimes a lot more time with them than you do your own family. So you got to make sure that these people, your team, your co-leaders, right? Like your teammates, they're not employees. We don't even call our team employees. We're teammates and co-leaders, right? And we're here to help lift each other up and create other co-leaders within the organization. And when you can create a culture like that, and you're vibing, because there's people out there, and this is the thing when it comes to self-mastery, I know who sucks my energy from me, and I know who gives me energy today. Right. And that's, once you can start dialing that thing in, it's like certain people I can only take for about 10 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm done. You have a good day or whatever. I figure out my escape route. However that may be at times, and I try not to be rude about it, but look, my time is valuable. I actually take I take my time more serious today than I did before too. I think that came again with a little more maturity and that good stuff. So anyhow, and is there anything else that you want to elaborate on that topic there?
Yeah, I think that like what we're talking about is letting teammates make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like then wisdom and experience and maturity over time with trust and you vibing with them, they grow. So like, I think that when you don't have a lot of experience and all you've experienced is you doing a thing and it working, then what happens is you have this fear. Like the fear is it won't work out, or I'll lose this client, won't get this job, won't make money on this job. And what happens is that muscle that got you going, which is I believe in what I'm doing, is what you're continuing to try to keep for a long time. And that will inhibit you from making mistakes, or from allowing your team to make mistakes. And so the fear, though, if you really address the fear, you're like, this fear is making me so anxious and such a control freak and all over everything I'm doing. And I can't let anybody make a mistake. I can't empower my team. You know, I'm criticizing everything, nitpicking everything. And I realized like the fear is actually not that big. You're like, hold on a second. Like if I have my team do something, I've given them responsibility, they're accountable, they're compensated to do the thing well, there's alignment. I think that's really important. You do that. And then you walk away and you let them do your thing, and they maybe make some mistakes or not, but like, just try it. Like try stepping away for 3 or 4 weeks with your team in place and just have a weekly meeting and checking on how they're doing and be available if needed, and just give them a chance to breathe, right? Mm-hmm. Watch the power of you being able to coach them instead of be the one with the idea and tell them what to do, how powerful that is in your relationship with them. And then the skills that actually grow from them being aware of it through your help and making a mistake and coming back on track. The fact that they're able to do that at a high level, decent level, way more often than you, way more frequently than you, and more of them can be replicated and you're not having to do it. Now you're actually scaling and growing the team. And then you're like, almost become addicted to delegation. Like I'm at a place where I'm like, so love to delegate, where I'm like, now I'm having to kind of be reeled back from like delegating like crazy to, hey, I still need to stay connected. I still need to have a relationship. I still want to stay in it with them, because sure, there's going to be things they're going to miss. But dude, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been in like, they're going to miss something. I can't let them do it. Now it's like, dude, they're totally going to miss something. It's okay. But if you completely delegate and empower and don't have any connection, then the thing you were afraid of, you just don't even like think about. And then like, you still got to address problems with people. So get in there with them, but trust them. And man, that is a powerful thing. And the source of what holds us back from that is fear. Like, okay, so let's just pretend your business completely stops today and it's over and you have to go bankrupt. And you go down this path, you're like, okay, hold on, that would be bad, sure. But then you're like, hold on a second. But I probably could start another one with more experience and do fine. And I would learn a lot. I'd do way more, have more success this time. And then you go down this path, and then you're like, the reality is it's not even going to get that bad in the first place. So I just went down a really long image of what could happen. And even when I did that, I was like, you know what? It's okay. It's all good. And then you're like, hey, hang on. It's probably not even going to be close to that bad. So, you know, I have nothing to really be freaking out about and being afraid of. And then, you know, for me, I combine the faithfulness of God and just how he's been so good, and that strengthened my trust with him. Now I'm like, I'm so okay. And like, because I'm okay, I lead differently. I think differently. I treat my family differently. And that's just a little bit of my journey of like, I think it's fear is what the source of why people think it or act like that. It's fear. Controlling comes from fear. You know, you self-promote, self-preservation. It's because you have fear. If I don't promote myself, then I'm not significant. And because I'm not significant, I'm not valuable. Then it's, you know, those things. What? Like, hold on, let's get down to it. What is it? It's fear. And I think that, you know, when you find sources of, you know, you just find a way to mitigate that fear. You're like, okay, what's good? I think fear is healthy to a degree. Mm-hmm. If you're living in constant fear and anxiety as an entrepreneur, as an owner, dude, like, it's not fun. And some people have massive amounts of capacity and can do 40, 50, 60 million and still live in fear, and they're still doing it. But some people burn out at 1 million. They're like, I just can't figure this out. Mm-hmm. I don't think that if you're living at 50, 60 million in constant anxiety and fear, that you're that successful of a person. I love seeing people who are living in peace, empowerment, excitement, navigating terrain, and that's hard, and they're making it through, but they are growing. And it's like, what a winner, what a warrior, what a king, what a leader. that's what I'm aspiring to be, is still growing all the things I want to grow, my family, my history with my spiritual life, my creator, my team, my relationships, my business. But if I'm doing that and I'm living in constant fear and anxiety, and it's causing me to like not trust people, then dude, I'm not successful. I got to figure that thing out. So
yeah, no, I love that. I love that. So many good things that you touched on there. Yeah, and I believe in healthy fear. There is definitely healthy fear. My fears are way different than they used to be. I have healthy fears today, and I'm trying to think of an example right now, but I guess, fear of like, taking care of my body and my mind and things. What happens if I don't take care of my body? And I think a lot of this starts with what we're talking about is it starts here first. Like even before we can lead people, our family, co-workers and co-leaders, it's like we have to be good. We have to eat in order to feed people, right? And that's the thing. And it might sound selfish, but like if I'm not taking care of myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and I'm not okay with me and I'm leading with fear, right? I'm making the wrong decisions. I'm belittling people. I'm cutting them short. Shortchanging them on their talents and their skills and not letting them go. This is the thing, and I say it all the time. It's like we hire smart people. Let them do smart people shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I don't get in there and make a decision and hold things back a little bit. But I am definitely more aware of that. And I think that's a lot of it is being aware of it and noticing it. And actually, I think probably what happened is I saw myself in somebody else once a couple years ago, and I was like, oh man, that was so me. Like I was able to like elevate above myself, even though it wasn't me, it was really them. And I saw myself in this individual, and I was like, God, I do not want to lead like that. I don't want to be that person, and lead, and that's the thing. It's like, holding people back. It's like the point of what we do today, at least where I'm at, is to help develop, right? Having a dream big enough for everybody else's dream to fit in, right? Giving them, ownership in it. Vic, I think, typed in here ownership, co-ownership. I had a gentleman call me today and asked me a question, and the most two powerful words that I've come up with, and I wish I would have came up with it, but I heard Craig Rochelle mention it on a podcast once, was you decide. So a gentleman called me today, and he's asking me these questions, and right before we got off, he was like, so what do you think? And I was like, you decide. And I could just tell by the tone in his voice, he was like, oh, okay, really? Like, yeah, man, you got this. You decide, right? That is some of the most powerful stuff, that empowerment that you can give people, that sense of belonging and ownership and stuff. It's like, hey, this dude's going to trust me.
I mean, like when he sees you looking at you and you say you decide, he doesn't see any bit of fear in your eyes. He doesn't hear any bit of fear coming from you. And so what does that do for him?
Mm-hmm.
It emboldens him or her.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful. It's good. That's really good because then your fearlessness and your belief and confidence coming over to him, and then it's going to sustain him through the healthy struggle of figuring it out if it was right or wrong, and then he gets more capable from that, and then he's confident, and then now he's empowered and he's growing, and it starts from. But like if you're freaking out and you're panicking, then he may not feel that and may take the steps. So I love that. That's really good.
Yeah, and that's a good place too. You can practice that at home. Like, so we had a situation where Rocket and I'm fishing with my son this week with our boat neighbor and his son-in-law. And when we got to the house, we haven't been here for a while. It's probably about a month. And we had an ant issue when we got here. And I mean, it was like a horror story, freaking cartoon flick of the amount of ants that were on the kitchen table and in our snacks. And we must have been thinking we were coming right back or something, because I mean, there was ants everywhere. And I even thought to myself, and I even said to him, I was like, look, sometimes you just got to, roll your sleeves up and just take care of business. Right. There was one of two ways I could have handled that. I could have freaked out. I could have panicked, I could have called Jana, right? I could have said, Jana, you need to get down here, or whatever the case. Handled it very poorly. Well, instantaneously, I just kind of went in there. I got the trash can. I pulled the trash can over there. I started to throw the half-eaten Oreo bag of cookies away, and all the stuff that I shouldn't be eating anyhow. And I think that was going through my mind anyhow when I was doing that, cleaning up the table. But I was getting it, and I got the Clorox wipes out, and I was cleaning the table, and they were coming up the wall, like literally. Well, long story short, the window must have been cracked open, and somehow they were coming in, climbing up the side of the house, coming in the window, and right there was the kitchen table. And long story short, we just took care of it. Dad didn't panic. Dad didn't freak. And what a valuable lesson that was for him when he comes across something, whether it be in school, whether it be, in life later on in life, he'll think of that. I mean, that was one of those memory making situations. At least I hope it is, for him, that, I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. And I try not to be that way at work. And I'm not saying I still don't have a moment here and there at home or even at work. But it doesn't last as long as it used to.
Love that. Same with me, man. More is caught than taught, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Your son watched, and I'm hoping the same for my sons. And I'm realizing now too, is like, imagine us living and leading with the Truman Show effect, like everybody watching, right? Not that we want that, but just imagine, these young men and women in the industry, or people that are following you, and they maybe admire, you to a degree. Like, what if they're watching you? What if your next salesperson that you promise them, like, if they crush it, they're going to have success here. Mm-hmm. How are they going to, they're looking at you to pull them up, and they're going to be empowered to do it. And it's going to be on them too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's when you think about what would my pastor think, based on how, when my son broke it's with 5 kids, it's like a daily occurrence, like something's breaking, we got glass everywhere. I mean, we had a glass jar and a sauna we broke down to throw away at the dump. That door crashed and broke apart within like an hour. It's just normal, it's normal. So I think I love what you just said, and I think I'm there with you. They happen less often, right? The freak out moments, and fires are going to happen. It's leadership, and I love talking about leadership.
Me too.
And it's a great thing. And so, with what we do at our company is we help owners and sales leaders and salespeople. We have a training and coaching platform. It's a place where they can learn, and much of the sales organization is predicated upon that leadership, the owner, the sales leader, and then the salesperson leading themselves, ultimately leading prospects to make decisions. So we're all leaders, but some just have more power and authority than others. And us as owners have the most in our company, just period. It's just what it is. And it's a beautiful subject. And I love this combo. It's good.
Me too. Yeah, I love it. And again, fortunately, leadership is a skill. We're not born leaders, not stating that, we're not born with certain qualities and things like that, but it's something, it's a journey, right? It's not a destination. We're never going to reach the finish line, at least for me. I'm going to remain a student of leadership and try to develop as many leaders as I possibly can, and have an impact on as many people as I possibly can. And I truly believe today that that's probably, along with something that you mentioned earlier, is the biggest flex that you could potentially have, along with being happy and humble. Like you said earlier, like, if I'm living in fear and paranoia, doing $60 million a year, that's not very successful. Right.
It's not.
There's a lot of issues there that need to be resolved personally, right? It's not a company thing. It's not a business thing. It's a personal situation, or something that you just choose to ignore or haven't identified yet. And I don't want to live in fear today. We haven't come this far, right? to live in fear, be miserable, wake up miserable, go to bed miserable, don't sleep right, don't eat right, don't exercise, all those things. It's like, I wasn't put on this planet, and believe me, I've been given an extended warranty. I believe that I am on borrowed time, and it's like, what have I chosen to do with that time? Am I gonna take it for granted, or am I gonna make the best use of that time that I've been extended to be on this earth? And I think that I've been chosen to have as much impact as I possibly can on as many people's lives. And what's cool about it is roofing has been our vehicle, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do that. Like it, and it really wouldn't matter if we were selling tires. It just happens to be roofing. And I love this industry. I love the fact that, that it's found me. It really did. It found me. I didn't find it.
Yeah.
Like I just, stumbled in one day and boom, there it was. Now I'm a roofer. Right. And I've been roofing myself personally for, over close to 30 years now. I grew up in the industry. I'm a first generation roofing contractor, but from a long line of carpenters. And, here it's blessed me, and it has given me the ability to bless other people. And it's great that once I can step out of self and realize that this is way bigger than me, and this is about everybody else, and I just need to get out of the way and kind of let things go the way that they're supposed to go. And all I need to really do, I don't need to be the orchestrator. I just need to suit up, show up, coach, right? I like how you mentioned coaching earlier. It's like when, and I'm sure the individual that I had told today, you decide. And in that process of them trying to figure that out and decide which way to go with that, they're going to feel more free to come to me and ask, hey, I got this far with it. What do you suggest? Right? Like they're not going to be afraid or walking on eggshells because I'm going to freak out because I didn't quite figure it out yet. And that in itself is freeing, that people, I think, enjoy being around me today because I'm not miserable 90% of the time, like I probably was, several years ago. It's kind of the other way around. It's like maybe not even 10% of the time. And this is the other thing too. Like I don't get fixated as much as I used to. I used to get fixated on the 5% of the shit, right? 95% of everything in my life could be just going exactly the way it's supposed to go, and everything could be great, but then there would be like this little 5% over here, man, that I would just get so fixated on, and I would allow it to ruin not just an hour, but like days, man. I would feel so emotionally hungover, and I didn't even realize what that was until somebody pointed it out to me. Like the following day, man, I was kind of like run down. They're like, well, how was your day yesterday? And it's like, it's horrible. And they're like, well, you're experiencing an emotional hangover. Like I don't wake up with emotional hangovers today. Like I sleep pretty freaking good.
So good.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I don't want to live like I don't want to live in fear. I want, like you said, I want to look my wife in the eye and know that I don't, have anything to fear. I want to be able to walk down the street and look anybody in the eye and quite frankly, not live in fear and know that I don't owe them anything. It's a cool place to be. I wasn't always there. And if there's somebody out there that's listening that I owe something to, by all means, chime in the comments there and let me know what I owe you. But I'm sure somebody's out there. But, for the most part, man, like life is good today. And it's because of people like you. I listen to what you're saying, man. I pick up. I've been taking notes this whole time. This is where I get free therapy. Like I don't have to pay for your services, Ryan. I get free therapy each week on my podcast here, and I love it. But man, what a great podcast. What a great conversation. Before we get off here, man, what would you like to leave our listeners and viewers with before we get off here, man?
Well, Ty, I want to say that you're a humble guy. I want you to know that I think you're humble. You've always when I first met you, you were very just gentle and kind and respectful, and you weren't trying to bow up and size me up and try to figure out some way to like ego slap me or anything. So I just want to thank you for that. Very refreshing to know you. So wanted to say that up front. And as far as, just what I would like to say is, look, if you're just kind of a chance to share what we do. We're a platform that you can, as a contractor, come and set your sales processes upon, your thoughts around, some tools for you. If you're just looking to grow your business and scale it, but you need help with the sales side, we love helping contractors who are growth minded, salt of the earth, want to just do great things for their family, for their communities, build great teams. And yeah, we help in the commercial side, residential, and door-to-door insurance restoration, sales training, and we're very hands-on, and we love to get involved and just level up. Every athlete has a coach. Professional athletes have coaches, and as a D1 and short-lived minor league baseball player, sports is kind of in my DNA, and I love it. And so I see business as a sport, and we're sales and corporate athletes out there, and we need folks that can help us stay on track. And what's crazy is we don't have this industry scoreboard that that can help us see how we're doing at all times. It's all subjective. It's all based on what you think. And so creating a vision and a world that is that you're shaping.
Lost him. Well, we'll wait here for a minute and see if he comes back. There he is. There you are.
How long was that up for?
30 seconds, maybe 15, 30 seconds. Yeah.
Cool. I'll just wrap up. Yeah. Basically, you're creating a world. It's not like a sports team where you have a scoreboard and a championship that's defined. You get to create your own and define your own. So that requires a lot of vision casting and imagining. And that ultimately, as an owner, it's a direct reflection of you and what your spouse are talking about and what you're creating. And it's just really cool. I just love business because you get to take this. It's like athletics and art combined in the marketplace. You get to create and design and imagine, but you also have the opportunity to make it a competitive environment that creates the most out of just helps elevate everybody. Everybody wants to be a part of winners and people who are successful. So I love it. If you're just a company that wants help figuring out how to accelerate that, whether you're $500,000 to $3 million, or you're going from 3 to 10, or you're already over 50 and you just want a different amount of support, we're really blessed to have the team that really knows what we're doing, that knows how to sell on STG, which is our platform. And we're blessed. We got a great team, and we cover the whole country. So if you are just interested in learning more about us, follow us, go to our website, salestransformationgroup.com, check out our socials, just hang out with us, and we'll see if we can help you, because sales sets a lot of things free. And as an owner, as a sales leader, as a salesperson, as a business, if sales is hitting, firing on all cylinders, and you're managing and stewarding that part of your business well, it unlocks a ton. And that's what we're here to just fix that with people. So that's all I got.
Cool, man. I love it. It's all about impact, right? More sales, you can impact more people's lives, whether it's homeowners or those you work with, or and those that you love the most. No, I love it. So www.salestransformationgroup.com. Check him out, Ryan Groth.
Yeah.
Man, you're the man, bro. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Ty. Appreciate you.
Man. Yep. And thank you for everybody for listening. Please check it out on the replay. Don't forget to like, love, and subscribe, and share this to anybody that you feel might get something out of it. Until then, we'll see you guys next week with episode 243 of Behind the Tool Belt. Till then, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Or the ants.
Yes.